Chain link fence, please move them. You'll be towed away.
This is a 1972 500 Triumph Daytona, which is I stripped and built as a race bike. It's not overly modified. If I can, most of the work on this has been done on the top end. The length of the intake track is very important, and the intake track goes from the jet to the valve, which is not common knowledge with a lot of people. Anyway, this length is very important, as is the exhaust. And the megaphone exhaust, the taper, the outside diameter, and on a Daytona a reverse cone. This is what's called a reverse cone, which at high RPM brings the intake track into tune, which makes it probably 10 more horsepower than a stock one. I'm running high compression pistons, stock cams, a little bit of porting, a little bit of lightning on the valve gear, but apart from that, it's a basically stock motorcycle. And the 500 Daytona wasn't a particularly good motorcycle. It went Daytona twice. It's racing machine. The forks and the frame is all stock, no modifications.
Tell me about that bouquet on your steering head.
Oh, this, I got lucky yesterday and won the 500 race. And this, you get one of these, it's a little memento, nice little thing. But you might notice a black ribbon in the bouquet, and this year we're in mourning for the close of Westwood, and this represents their mourning. So that's their last vintage race at Westwood. The first race was June of '59, combined car and bike race.
What were you racing?
It was what they call a long-stroke Max Norton. That's the older model with the long-stroke engine. Great old bikes.
Yeah, how'd you do?
Third.
Third?
Yep.
Was it a very big field back then?
We had, I suppose there was 15 or 18 of us, all enthused and ready to go. Yeah, start of the long history of Westwood.
And before Westwood, where did you race?
We used to race out at Abbotsford Airport. We had an agreement with it was an RCAF station at that time. We had an agreement with the commanding officer where we would have the track, I think, about 3 times a year and donate all proceeds to the RCAF Benevolent Fund. Race to race.
Yeah. I guess in the last 30 years, I've seen an awful lot of changes in motorsport racing.
Yes, faster, of course. Suspension on the motorcycles has been a big improvement. Tires have been a tremendous improvement. People keep going around faster and faster, and this is what racing's all about.
I understand you raced the Upper Band as well.
Yes, I went over in 61, 62, and I enjoyed racing over in England.
Yeah, there's been quite an upsurge in vintage racing in the last.
There has. People still like the sound of the old singles, the old twins. The heritage of racing, I think the noise, the smell is totally different now. The bikes are much cleaner, make different noises, go faster, but there's still that vintage aura about it, especially the Manx Norton, which holds a great place in racing history. And generally the friendliness of the vintage people. There's no animosity, everybody helps one another, and we have a great time every time out.
You find the competition is stiff?
Oh dear, oh dear. Once the flag drops, the bullshit stops, is the old saying, and it still holds true in the vintage. No, it's maybe more gentlemanly. There's not any chop and cut and thrust in that respect, but the competition is fierce. Yeah.
Yeah, as much as it was back.
I think so. I think so, yeah. Westwood has a unique quality, which I don't think is appreciated, and that is that anybody that can come and do well at Westwood can normally do well anywhere they go. And I think the reason is that Westwood is a very unforgiving track. It's tight, ideally suited for motorcycles. I don't think as ideally suited for motor cars. I don't think it's as wide. But if you get off the track, you're in trouble. And it teaches people respect. You've got to stay on the track. And I think this is what they get to any foreign circuit, that they know they got to stay on the track, learn the track, and Westwood is a great place for teaching people how to race.
How does Westwood, you've ridden a lot of other racetracks?
Yes.
How does Westwood compare with other tracks you've ridden there?
Westwood has a unique quality. There's no place in the world like Westwood. I've raced at Silverstone, at Brands Hatch, I raced at Crystal Palace in those years, Cadwell Park, Snetterton, obviously raced at Seattle, Portland, Mosport, but Westwood has that unique friendliness about it. I think probably the view up here, people calms people down, and there's no place like Westwood. And when Westwood goes, it's going to be a sad, sad day for motorsport. I raced the first race here, and I said 5 years ago when Westwood was going to close next year, I said I'm going to race the last one. But that was 5 years ago. But I'm going to grind it through to the end.
Yeah, so this won't be your last race, though. Although it is the last vintage race, you will be racing on your Battle of the Twins.
I don't race Battle of the Twins. The Triumph is a good vintage bike, but it wouldn't stand a full season of that Battle of Twins racing. It's almost time to hang them up. 62 now, and it's getting close.
This could be your last race.
This is billed as the last race. There is a race in September, which is bring everything you ever race. I should bring my sidecar up and do a few laps on it, and hopefully have a ride on a Manx. Just have a general fun day, and I think we should have a wake, and I think we should go around with a drum and beat it when day breaks the next morning, and when the bulldozers come in, and part of everybody that ever raced here, I'm sure will die.
Well, this is a replica of a Rob North frame that was built by Rob North back in England. This particular chassis was built by J&R Sales back in 1971. It's built basically for a triple-cylinder Triumph motor, or BSA. This particular bike has raced at Daytona. It also ran in the Wera American Superbike Series, of which it won, with a rider named John Minono riding it. The bike at that time was owned by Big D Cycle down in Texas, built up by Jack Wilson. I bought a bike in about 1984 from a chap who owned it locally in town and has raced it since. It's basically a T160 motor, a few modifications on it. A very competitive bike, it handles very well. It's one of the faster bikes up here. With the right rider on it, it can do very well.
Are you the right rider?
Too old. Being the last vintage weekend up at Westwood, 10th anniversary, I flew in from England just purely for this race.
And how long will you stay?
I will be here for another 2 weeks, then I fly back to England. Hopefully I'll be able to return in the new year.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
I guess I'm sitting in front of my old 750 Norton that I raced up here in the late 60s. I started here in 65, I guess. And I raced until I raced my own private stuff for about 3 years, and then I was sponsored by British Motorcycles for 3 years on Commandos, and then I stopped racing. And then until they started this stuff, and a couple of people gave me a good prod, I never went near a racetrack. I came back up here about 6 years ago, I guess. I put my old 750 back together to show a couple of people that it really did go. And here we are.
Yeah.
Been here pretty well every year since.
Do you have any thoughts of this being the last race that you'll race here with?
Yeah, I don't like it. I wish it wasn't.
Do you know where you'll be going? Like, you still want to race after this is over?
Yeah, just occasionally. Finished up.